The third ratio topic is that of sharing or dividing. This is when we are looking for two missing values instead of one. In this scenario, it is given to you that there are 3 girls for every 5 boys in a specific class. We need to find how many girls there are and how many boys there are in a class of 24. These numbers are quite simple, so we can do it in a short way. If there are 3 girls and 5 boys in this class, it means that there are 8 learners in total. But they tell us that there are not 8 learners, there are indeed 24 learners. So exactly what we did with missing value, we can also do here with sharing. So on the right-hand side, we see that there are indeed 3 times more learners in this class, which means there needs to be 3 times more girls in this class. That will give me an answer of 9 girls. But if there are 3 times more girls and 3 times more learners, then there's also 3 times more boys. And let's just write the times 3 in here on each side so we remember what we're doing. And that gives me 15 boys. And now we see, does 9 and 15 add up to 24? Indeed, it does. Let's look at another example. So this is one that you will get very often, where you have an amount of money that needs to be shared amongst 2 or 3 people. And in this case, Granny leaves her 3 young grandchildren 600 Rand, and they need to divide it up in the ratio of their ages. So the youngest is 4, the eldest is 6, and the middle one is 5 years old. So just like with the previous one, we're going to say, what does 4, 5, and 6 add up to? And this is 15. So to get from 15 to 60, I know that I need to multiply by 4. So in other words, to get to 600, I need to multiply by 40. So if I need to multiply by 40 for the total amount, it means for each of the girls, I also need to multiply by 40. And I can put my arrows in here if that makes it a little bit easier for you. And I need to know that in each case, I need to multiply by 40. So 4 times 40 gives me 160 Rand. 5 times 40 gives me 200 Rand. And let's just write the times 40s in there. And 6 times 40 gives me 240. And always check that your amount that you got indeed add up to 600. And in this case, we see it definitely does. So here we had to take the ratio and make everything 40 times bigger. But as in the previous cases, you will sometimes also get values where you need to change the units. So to make a very nice, delicious cup of hot chocolate, you can melt 30 ml of chocolate and mix that with 250 ml of milk. In total, this will give you a glass of milk, which is 280 ml. If now you want to make 1.4 liters, how many times bigger is that? And if I convert this to milliliters first, you will know that I multiply by 1,000. So this is 1,400 milliliters. And here you can see that I have to multiply by 5. Once again, if you are not too sure how to do this, you can write down the multiples of 280 somewhere on the side for you. So let's quickly do that. 280 and another 280 gives me 560. If I add another 280 onto that, I get 840. If I add another 280 onto that, I get 120. And if I add another 280 onto that, I get 1,400. So it means that it is 5 times bigger. So if it's 5 times bigger for the total hot chocolate mixture, it means that it's also 5 times bigger for the amount of melted hot chocolate. And that will give me 150 ml. But we also need to make the milk 5 times bigger. So if I do that for the milk, I will get 250, 500, 750, 1 liter, and then 1,250 ml. And always check that when you add that together, indeed gives you 1,400, and in this case, it does. So finding 2 missing values is pretty much the same as finding 1 missing value, but in this case we call it sharing because we have a total that we need to share in a specific ratio.